Hi, g'day, you Bob. How are yous? So long since I've seen anyone from this location, anyway, from this channel. Pardon me, just for old time's sake. Perfectly timed cigarette. That was the last possible breath I could get out of it. Right as the song finished. How are we, Pam? Jimbo? James H? Hookulak? Mr. Paradigm? Huawei, love you. Yeah. I wasn't going to be here today, and Pam wasn't going to stream anyway. I was supposed to go somewhere, supposed to take my parents for a visit, and then my dad pulled out of the visit. He's got a very bad back. So yeah, I had nothing else planned for the afternoon, and it hit me like a flash. Let's do a stream. Why not? So here we are, streaming like a fury. Same location, same person, just on my channel again. Why not? Why not? I mean, it's there. Got all these hours on StreamYard to use up. Haven't used any for months. So we might as well do a 20-hour stream and use up all of my hours in one fell swoop. Or not, you know. I can just sit here and talk to the camera. Punchy's a bit. Punchy's not the one I was going to talk about. Sarah, the other chick that I normally stream with. She's a little bit busy at the moment. She's painting up a sign. G'day, June. How are you? Yeah, she's painting up a sign for the expo in December. Just sent me a preliminary picture. And she's only up to the U, so she could be quite some time yet, depending on how long it took her to drew. Depending how long it took and herzo, twos, do's, the S's and the C. Is it? Anyway, how are we all? Hope everyone's well. As back to my old style, I've come here unprepared. Nothing to talk about. Nothing on my mind. Well, a few things on my mind, but could be a little bit dicey talking about those things. Chewing on my moustache, apparently. Due for a trim once they start getting stuck in my teeth. And yeah, so why not? Why not just do this? I thought Huawei might have been in bed, but because he didn't respond to my Instagram message. But then I looked at the clock and thought, nah, his dog wouldn't let him go to bed yet. That'd be madness, utter madness. Don't apologize, Huawei. You're here. You're here, friend. You're here. I've not seen Twisted Metal yet. But speaking of shows, what I did watch quite a few episodes of last night is a show called Primal. It's a cartoon by the same dude who did the original Star Wars Clone Wars animation, the movie length one, Genndy Tartakovsky. I think that's how you pronounce his name. It's called Primal. G'day, Fish Fam Link, or FFL for short. Yeah, it's very, very cool. Very, 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 very cool show. About 15 to 20-minute episodes, animation. I think I said that already. Not a single word is said except for grunts until about, I don't know if I should give spoilers, until about episode 10. We hear the first words, but they're not English words. They're old world words. Because as you can guess, being called Primal, said a long time ago. And it's basically, I mean, you've got to have a fairly strong suspension of your disbelief, because we do have dinosaurs and hominids existing at the same time. And science tells us that just didn't happen. But a big burly caveman type dude and a dinosaur become friends and work together to do things, everyday life kind of things. But it's so heart-wrenching and emotional and beautiful, as well as beautiful scenery and background artistry and whatnot, as is generally often the case with Gendy Tartakovsky's animations. Yes, very, 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 very cool show. Yeah, it's like the Flintstones. Huawei, it's almost identical to the Flintstones, except there's less laughs. There is still laughs, though, here and there. But again, like I said, you've got to chuck your suspension of... No, you've got to chuck your disbelief away and embrace your suspension of disbelief. That's right, isn't it? Now I've got myself confused. Crikey, people leaving already just because I'm talking about dinosaurs and people living together. Cats and dogs living together. What's that from? Ghostbusters? Ghostbusters, I think. Bill Murray. Bill Murray? Yeah, I think it was him saying it. In Ghostbusters. The original. And probably still the best. Even though that newer one was pretty decent. It was okay. But yes, Huawei, sidetracked from the question a little bit. It's supposed to be pretty good, isn't it? I've heard okay things. Got the old, what's his name? Hawkman dude as the main character. And yeah, I remember the video game from bloody hell. What did it come out on first? Old Sega Master System, maybe. Or it might have been the Mega Drive. Mega Drive, I think, was when Twisted Metal was first released. I believe it was on the Sega Mega Drive. It was good fun. There was a motorbike version too, wasn't there? Road Rash, I think it was called. Similar sort of thing. Anthony Mackie, that's him, yeah. I just always know him as Hawkman, I guess. I think that's who he played, wasn't it? He had wings and the suit and shit. Iron Man's mate. Yeah, it was a good show. Good show, but Huawei. Because I probably might take a couple more solid recommendations before I actually sit down and start it. I think I've got a few more episodes of Primal to finish. Smashed out bloody hell, what is it? Good Omens, the second season of Good Omens. Pardon me. Smashed that out in one night. That was brilliant. Neil Gaiman still in full control, and even though him and Terry Pratchett wrote the original Good Omens book, and Terry Pratchett is no longer existent, Neil Gaiman, I believe, remained true to their original style. I kind of actually found that the way Gaiman did it, he told it like Terry Pratchett would tell a story. Unless, I haven't read a heck of a lot of Neil Gaiman stuff. I've seen another show that he did, but yeah, I'm not sure if they are identical writers. But yeah, he definitely, in my opinion, wrote it in a Terry Pratchett-ish style. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good recommendation, Huawei. Yeah, no, you don't need a TV, Pam. You got a laptop, you can watch everything you need to watch on a laptop or computer. Yeah, I don't mind a world building episode to start a series. Sometimes they can sort of damage because people might get bored and give up after episode one. But I think a lot of with the amount of TV series and stuff that are out there nowadays, there's people are becoming a little bit more clued up that you can't just give up after one episode. In Good Omens, June. I can't say I'm much of a Doctor Who guy. My brother ruined it for me when we were kids, forcing me to watch it all the time. So I'm still averse to watching it too much. I did start watching the one where the cool dude in the leather jacket was the Doctor. But yeah, I think I only got 3 or 4 episodes into that before I gave up. G'day, Caleb. How's it going? So yeah, I might have missed the Matt Smith reference if that was in Good Omens too. One of my favourite bits in it was the guys from the League of Gentlemen. All 3 of them were in it, and that was a brilliant show. I don't know if you've seen that show before. Very eerie, spooky, macabre show, English show with basically there's how many dudes are there? I think there's 5 or 6 of them in the core group, and they play many different characters in this small town. Very good. David Tennant was next after Matt Smith, or after the dude that I was talking about, the leather jacket dude. I think he might have been the problem. My problem with that show, because I've seen that actor in other things and I've not liked him much before at all. But yeah, I don't think I saw any of David Tennant's Doctor either. But I do like him. He's Christopher Eccleston is the leather jacket dude, right? Gotcha. Yeah, not a fan of his work. I think he thinks he's cooler than he actually is, but maybe that's just who he plays. But yeah, like I said, I do like David Tennant as an actor. He's good fun, so I should probably, if I'm going to revisit any more Doctor Who, that's probably my next kicking off point. Yeah, well, Tom Baker was definitely good at it, and he was probably the first one I can remember watching as a kid, and I did enjoy him as the Doctor. But like I said, when you're a young kid and you're forced to do things, you grow to resent those things. Yeah, Billy Piper's a pretty good reason to watch Doctor Who. Who was Eccleston's sidekick? That wasn't Catherine Tate, was it? I know Catherine Tate was sidekick for one of them. She's a very, very funny lady. She had her own sketch comedy show, English Comedian Lass. Very funny show. Her character Nan was awesome. I think she was called Nan, not Gran. Yeah. Well, I believe it's 10 Ant, isn't it? So maybe it's tiny. maybe that was one of his conditions of playing the Doctor was, I'll do it, but only if I get an offsider who I can use my talents on. Yeah, right. Well, wait. Wonder which one Catherine Tate was in. I don't know if StreamYard's just being silly or what, but the amount of people watching just keeps going 0, 2, 4, 5, 2, 5. I'll just accept that StreamYard's not linking up to YouTube probably. And we'll see. We'll see, I guess. Anyway, look at me go. I'm straight onto TV shows on the channel where pretty much that's what we used to do, talk about TV shows. What sounds like a phone number? Ah, right. Me calling out the numbers that StreamYard's providing me with. Oh, yeah. Yeah, mine says 5. Now it says 7. Like I say, I'm only looking at the StreamYard one, so it's just going nuts, I think. Unless we do just have robots coming in and out like they do. YouTube has been doing this really awesome thing where it doesn't allow live stream chats to work. Interesting. But this one's working, is it? Or are you saying it could be an issue with that kind of similar thing? Oh, I looked really red, this one. Normally it's this one that's stuffing up. Yeah, I know speaking of glitches, Facebook Messenger seems to have a glitch at the moment where group chats aren't showing up in your list of what chats you've got going on. But if someone sends a message, that's words made out of netting. Yeah, you'll get the notification for it, no worries, but it's just not showing up in the list, which is interesting when you're relying on group chats for certain things, lots of things, many things. My sister claims that it's because I've got an Android, because it's happening to my other sister too. And she's an Apple fanatic. But yeah, I don't think it's got anything to do with that. I think there's a sick cow out there, or calf, yearling, young bull. I went out there the other day, and I'm sure it's the same dude. He's out there laying on the ground, panting very heavily. And the other day I was out there, and he had his head up like this, and he was breathing really heavily through his nose, really short and sharp breaths. But yeah, I think he's also one of the ones that's quite feisty with the other ones, so he might have copped some headbutts in return. He's certainly not the largest one out there. What is awesome, though, is that there's a little brown Brahmin, probably less than a year old, has been added to the herd, but he's already ostracized from them. When they all sleep in a group, he's 30 meters away on his own because he looks different. He's got brown skin and big ears, so the black and white ones ostracize him from the group. But one day he'll be twice as big as those other ones, and he'll show them, if they're not all steaks by then. Brahmins are beautiful cows, if you know your cows. Nice, what's that word about their mood? Temperament. Nice temperament on them. Unless you've got a bull that can smell females in season, then they don't have a very good temperament because they're massive and they can probably kill you quite easily. No, thanks, Fish Fam Link. Yeah, that's a good idea. Hit that like button. Tell your friends. Ask your grandma to send me flowers. That sort of thing. The usual stuff. I don't understand either side of the argument, Huawei. They all do the same shit. It's just tribalism, I think. Like it's fun to hassle someone for being an Apple user. It's like real good fun, but I don't believe they're any better or any worse. They're more expensive, but that doesn't mean they're better. Just probably more of a status symbol. Maybe. Here we go. And let the debate commence. Android v Apple. No, let's not do that here. I've just said what I said. Yes. I was supposed to take my parents for a 2-hour drive to go and visit my dad's sister who might be dying, who probably is dying. But by the time he got up and out of bed and ready to go, about 12:30ish, he decided that his back was too sore to travel, and couldn't really weigh up the potential consequences of not going. So, yeah, we just stopped home instead. Pardon me. Yeah, it's okay to state facts, Huawei. Crows have been so busy. I suppose you probably can't hear them if that background noise cancellation is working. I wonder, does it stop everyone being able to hear all the bird life? We had a couple of Australian ravens hanging around the backyard, so I've been trying to lure them with meaty treats and whatnot. But they're very flighty. Oh, what are you doing? Sneaky bugger. He had the crow out there, he or she, I'm not sure of its gender, very difficult to tell without actually sexing them, probing them. I think he just lifted something off the ground and underneath it was something to eat. Sneaky stasher. But yeah, as soon as the ibises see the crows hanging around the backyard eating, the ibises come in, and there's about 10 of them. I keep saying crows, but they're ravens. Blue eyes, raven. Yellow eyes, crows. Pretty sure that's how it goes. I think these raven guys will eat anything, because I was in at the kitchen sink earlier and I saw one with an orange that I'd thrown out to the cows to eat. It was like one that had fallen on the ground and split open or been bit open by a possum or a flying fox. G'day, Joel G. Long time no see, brother. Yeah, had this orange and it was flying with this orange up onto a fence post and was picking the guts out of this orange. So yeah, I think they're rather omnivorous. They don't care what they eat as long as it goes in and can digest. Still very funny to see a raven. How many more times I'll do that? Let's take an over under. Yeah, quite interesting. Oh, look, it's back with it, I think. It is. It's picked its orange back up again. He's back on the fence post with it. I wish I had a camera on the other side of my computer. Why don't they do that with computers? Front and back cameras, please. So, yeah, you can hear my raven then. Got it right. $2,000 on a phone. Crikey. Last time I got it was $300, and I only got one that expensive because the government paid for half of it. Jolly good of the government to do that for me. But yeah, anything that I can't do on the phone, I can do on the computer. So I don't need a phone that does everything. Why are you looking at me now? I've got a magpie sitting here now staring at me because I haven't put any food out for it. Just looking me straight in the eye. Oh no, now he's looking over his shoulder because the ibis are coming in. I could just do commentary on my on the birds coming in and out of the backyard all day long. I had the red-backed wrens out in the paddock this morning, all making their noises. I think they're all getting ready to breed. And my red-browed finches smashing their seed this morning, which I'm out of now, so they might not come back until I get some more seed. Magpies, ibis, ravens. Oh, the other day, when was it? 2 days ago, I was out hanging washing out, and there was these two small birds of prey almost directly above me, just circling. And I could tell they were birds of prey by the shape of them, but they were only small ones, and I couldn't quite work out what sort they were. So I've run. There you go. There's a sight for your imaginations. Blacky running across the backyard into my room to try and find my binoculars. Couldn't find my binoculars. Rummaged around looking for my binoculars, found my binoculars, and went back out to the backyard to get a good look at them, to ID them. And I couldn't see them anymore. They were gone. But while I was looking up, there was a white-breasted sea eagle flying, and they're, quite massive, not quite as big as wedgetails, maybe about the size of a bald eagle or a golden eagle. So that was a nice sight to see. They're very identifiable by their wing shape and their tail shape and their colours. And then it clicked what the smaller ones were. They were Pacific bazzers, which might not be a humorous name to Americans, but bazza is a nickname that Australians call Barry. If you know anyone called Barry, generally you'll call him Bazza in Australia, even though it's only B-A-Z-A. Also called crested hawk or chicken hawk. But yeah, there's chicken hawk is probably one of the widest used common names for a multitude of different birds of prey. Come on, Raven, come in here. He was flying straight for me and then went over the roof. Crikey. I'd really like to befriend him. Maybe I've got to find out where they're nesting, and once they've nested, kill the parents and take the babies. Then I'll have some ravens for life. A little bit selfish and cruel, but you got to do what you got to do. Get Amy confused with a hyena. The colouring, I guess, and the silly noises. I don't know. I've never heard Amy make noises. I can imagine her laughing at you a lot, though, Huawei. Yeah, lots of birds, and it is. I mean, we've stupid seasonal stuff. G'day, Holly. How are you, love? We've had a really warm winter, but the last few days have been quite cold and overcast, and a little bit of rains and whatnot. But the magpies have got fresh babies already. It's nowhere near spring yet. They've got winter babies. They very rarely do that unless they're having a bumper season. The finches, they've got new babies. They must be breeding all year round at the moment. And like I said about the wrens out the back this morning, they were definitely engaged in some kind of courtship and breeding. Pardon me. My nephew sent me a picture last night of a bird that I couldn't identify. So I had to get one of my bird friends to identify it. They're maybe as the as the raven flies, as the crow flies, probably about 150 kilometres west of here, almost level. And yeah, he sent me this photo of this bird. Didn't know what it was, so I got a friend of mine to ID it, and it was a female satin bowerbird. I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with bowerbirds or if you've got any types of them over in the States. But the males, very, very shiny, satiny black colour, and they build a bower, oddly enough. It's in the name, which is like this archway made of like grass that they thatch up together. And then they collect a bunch of items and they put it in the bottom of the bower to entice females in. And then they do crazy dance routines for the female birds. But the female birds are very, very plain and not pretty at all. But the males are stunning, shiny, black, bluey black. They look awesome and have wicked behaviours. So I've sent my nephew on a mission to try and discover where the nest is, so he can potentially get some footage of the male doing his dancing for the girls, because I'm fairly certain they'd probably be starting that. Fairly certain, and probably in the same sentence. Yeah, I'm sure they'd be starting to do their mating stuff with the weather that we've had, and it's probably that time of year anyway. Same for me, Gene. Punchy's often talked about different birds that I've not heard of before. Generally, when Punchy mentions a bird, I'll give it a goog and have a look at it and try and remember it, because that's what I like to do. Not just with birds, with most animals. Got the old gel blaster out the other day for the ibis. I wasn't even scared of it. The gel balls were hitting them and splatting. And it's like, they were more frightened of the noise the gun makes. So is I, for that matter. It's quite loud for something that shoots out tiny little pathetic pellets that just go splat. And, you know, who knew that feathers were adequate armour against projectiles? He's still panting. Might have to go and give him a kick and see if he's responsive. Well, I said responsive and he went, flicked his head a little bit towards me, so he's responsive. Oh, wait, my cat thinks it's a dog. She refuses to bark. Thinks it's a dog, but won't bark for you. Slack. What else? Who else is turning up? Got some lurkers in there. Lurkers, replay team 6. Welcome back. Missed you guys. Oh, he is responsive. He heard me talking about him and now he's getting up. Big stretch. Oh. You need a drawing form from me, do you, Jane? I've been feeling that my drawing's been really shit the last few weeks. Not sure what it is. Maybe I need some more angst in my life. More motivation from nastiness. Yeah, I think they're all hitmen too. I can't stop looking at this young bull. I'm a little bit concerned for his health. You all right, mate? Hey? He nodded. He seems okay. G'day, Bruiser. How are you, buddy? Yum, yum. Might just. I mean, it is Sunday afternoon and my glass is empty. I go and fill it up. I do have to walk all the way to the fridge though, so you will be alone for a moment, even though the fridge is just there. Can you see in the fridge? Oh, this tiny little square here, tiny little square here, tiny little square up here underneath the StreamYard logo. I think there's one up there too. Scungy's new tiny little stickers, which will come in her pictures. Yeah, that's like the bowerbirds do. They love blue, but yeah, they take glass and pegs and clothes pegs. I mean, coins, lots of different stuff they'll take. But yeah, I think what are they? The crow family, the corvids. I think a lot of them are renowned for stealing things and bringing them as gifts to people who are nice to them, because they do have a tendency to what's that word? Relate? No. Have an affinity for relationships with humans, something like that. You know what I mean? They like people if people are nice to them, but unfortunately most crows and ravens and stuff get guns and shit aimed at them from farmers and whatnot, so they learn to be very distrusting of humans. It's black. I'm sure what it is, or not sure. All right. Sorry to leave you all alone for so long. It's a long hike to fetch a drink these days. What sort of size, Holly? I don't think that works for me, Huawei, because I don't have a bum. We all know this. I need to get a Stairmaster or something and increase my girth around my buttocks. This one up here. What? That fish tank light totally just turned off, didn't it? And it wasn't even, I didn't even think it was on. I heard it go click. We did have a blackout the other night and I forgot to change the timers. But yeah, there's quite a few long bits up there, June. And I've got up in fucking sides. Up here in amongst this bunch, there's a sawn kind of log that I've stuck on top of the lid, the permanently folded open lid of that tank. And as you can see, these guys here that tend to come down the front of the tank, as they get long enough, I loop them up around the log and back and entwine them amongst each other. And then I was about to use my mouse cursor. That will not show you what I'm pointing at. These guys along here, there's one that's might even be two different types in that corner that are growing this way, and then there's a long one that goes that way. That way as well. You'd think after all this time doing live streams I'd work out my left from my right. And there's also there's a small peperomia in there as well that sort of mingles with that pothos also. But it's also down in the water and underneath the fish tank glass, growing quite vigorously in there, and between the glass and the lid as well. Also got that peperomia in a tank in the house, and you open that one, the lid actually closes, but you open it up and all this peperomia jumps out at you because it's just full of it, and it's growing out the lid and out the back of the tank. It's quite pretty. Actually, that's the tank that I did the under gravel filter video on. So I think that might be my most watched video on my YouTube channel. And I do occasionally get people asking for an update on that tank. Unfortunately, my camera that I used to film all of my YouTube videos on, I believe has fungus growing in the lens from being unused for so long and sat idle in a damp and musty room. My fault entirely. You should always store your camera lenses or your cameras with silica gel or some other kind of desiccant. People take it from me, because now I've either got to go and pay a professional to pull that camera apart and clean the lens, which, I don't know if anyone's had any experience with that and knows what kind of expense I'd be looking at, or I've got to go and fork out some money for a new camera. I suppose I'd just use my phone. It's got a decent enough camera on it. But yeah, I don't exactly have spare money at the moment to go and buy a new camera when Scungy and myself are trying to get a bunch of stuff sorted for this expo, let alone pay for accommodation and doing the expo itself. There's many, many other expenses we have to fork out for. But that's what you get in the big smoke. Cheers, Huawei. How many views are on that? Should have a look, shouldn't I? It's been a while since I've given stuffs about, 30,000. Over 30,000, I'm guessing. 30,077 views. That's pretty cool, because I think last time I looked at that, it was like 24 or 25,000, maybe not even that. Wicked. Yeah, I didn't even find it, I don't think it's a very entertaining video, but because it's got that DIY element and it says custom in the title, I think it gets a little bit of people hang around and watch it, or they scroll through it at least, because it is it's a nifty build. G'day, Coro. How are you, dude? Or love. I can't remember what gender you are, Coro. My apologies. Yeah, it's a nifty build. Originally, I was going to put it in my 3x2x2 tank and run it off a power head. Does that come through the microphone? All right. I'll try and use gender-specific terms then. All right. I'm going to have to just disappear for a sec. I might pop a song on and you can talk amongst yourselves. Does that sound like an adequate idea? Whoops. Buttons. Careful, buttons. Yeah, give me a tick. I'll chuck. Go find one that's long enough for the potential that I won't be back very quickly. Yeah, I don't know if I've played this one for a long time. Let's try that one.
She's packing gold in a panic state. Run from her fear, held stronger than hate. Problems she holds in an enhanced state. Held in a fear much stronger than hate. Undefinable, but worth a fight. uncontrollable, a victim of rights. Uncontrollable, hot days, warm nights. Hot days, warm nights. Warm nights and hot days. Hot days, warm nights. Warm nights with hot days. She's back in gold in a panic state, running from her fear, hell, stronger than hate. Problem she holds in an enhanced state, held in a fear much stronger than hate. She is the keeper, I am but the door. She opened me to reveal the light. A moment's notice, a sway towards the floor. Coming up fast, hot days, warm nights. Hot days and warm nights. Warm nights and hot days. Hot days, warm nights. Warm nights with hot days. Hot days, warm nights. Warm nights and hot days. Hot days and warm nights. Warm nights with hot days. I said days, not dates. 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 Hot days and warm nights. Warm nights and hot days. Hot days and warm nights. Warm nights with hot days. Hot days and warm nights. Warm nights and hot days. Hot days and warm nights. Warm nights with hot days. Hot days and warm nights. Warm nights and hot days. Hot days and warm nights. Warm nights with hot days. Hot days, warm nights. Warm nights and hot days. Hot days and warm nights. Warm nights with hot days.
Crikey, what happened? What the devil happened? Yeah, we have Spotify down here. Hello, BJ. How are you? 3G. Hi. Yeah, sorry about that. Hopefully, the background noise eliminated all of the noises that I made from inside the house. Yes, that was my song. What did I play? I can't even remember what I played. I played Hot Days, Warm Nights. It's an old song. Never really properly finished it. Sorry, I have to go back through the chat. There we go. That's where I was up to. Coro is gender. Thank you, Huawei. You can catch fish with no hook. You can. In that picture, Blacky's anime body pillow is just out of view. I think I said hi to BJ, didn't I? Yeah, when I came back, I did. Hooray! Yes. Yes. I don't have a Spotify of my music. No. I put some old, I had 4 songs on a MySpace once. Does that actually still exist? I wonder. There's a link for you to hunt for, Huawei. MySpace links. I can't remember what name I was under, though. The filter on that picture, yes, I did that in Photoshop. Crikey. Thousands of years ago. And the main effect was called plastic wrap. Or it probably still is to this day called plastic wrap. And then I think I might have negatived and done something with the colors, obviously, because there's a green version and a pink version. And I think there's just a silver version somewhere, but I'm not sure if I've used it. If that's the filter you were talking about. Or can you see a fish tank filter from here? No, you can't really see the fish tank filter on that one. It's just out of sight. That's actually that filter on that tank is I actually have a printout of the pink one somewhere, but it's a little bit faded nowadays because, like I was said, that photo was from thousands of years ago. I've bought in the last 5 years, say, I've bought quite a few external canister filters, and the those Sun I think is the most common brand that you see these ones as, but they're also rebadged into many different cheap ass brand names, and all of those dodgy white ones they all suck air, even with silicone grease around the O-ring or the gasket, whatever you want to call it. They all suck in air. So then I got a good deal on that guy. It's fairly low flow for a 5-foot tank, but haven't done proper water changes on that tank for over 2 years. But thanks to the adequate levels of pothos, as mentioned earlier, they obviously do assist with the filtration. And I have one of the lids partially open and two of the lids pretty much fully open. The lid on this side there's only like the back half of the tank has a lid, because I like to feed down that end, and there's all the plants and stuff growing out of it. So yeah, I get a lot of evaporation plus transpiration. If you know what that is, it drops my water level quite rapidly. So I've just been doing top ups on that one for, like I said, over 2 years, and haven't exactly had many fish losses in there. I think the last time I did a water change in it was when I took all of the big cichlids out of it, and then put bristlenose in there. Then I've put swordtails in there, and now I've got my gudgeons in there, which have become some of my favourite fish. Wild caught in my creek next door. Which obviously wild caught. In this tank, I've got 3 spotted gudgeons, and in the 3x2 around the corner, I've got what I think is an empire gudgeon, but Z-beam. For some, g'day Trav. Some people may remember Z-beam as a occasional co-host on this channel. He says there's a local one as well called a flame-tail gudgeon, which I'd never heard of. And because the one I've got is still quite small, it's very difficult, like speaking, to tell if it's a empire gudgeon or a flame-tail gudgeon. But they have all finally, because I've been having to breed mosquito larvae, which is always fun for people who hate being bitten by mosquitoes, to actually give them some food that, moves and triggers their hunter bits of their brain. And in the last, when was the first? Maybe 3 or 4 nights ago, it's very difficult to get the 3 spotted gudgeons to eat the wrigglers, the mosquito larvae, because there's 15 or 16 swordtails in there, and they're very aggressive fish, so they tended to get most of the wrigglers. And the other night, I successfully got the gudgeons eating on frozen bloodworms, which I was like, yeah, because I was sick of. I mean, it's okay. It's quite easy to breed mosquito larvae, but harvesting them is, a bit of a pain in the arse. So it's much easier just to far out motivation by laziness. It's not a good trait, is it? Much easier to get them out of the freezer than my 17 buckets around the place. And then, if you miss a day, you've got the sky full of clouds of mosquitoes. You won't like the spotted gudgeons then, BJ. They're very plain, just browny grey with black spots, oddly enough, with a name like that. But personality-wise, they're fantastic. Whenever, like, the swordtails couldn't give a shit. They know that I'm there, but they don't come up to the tank going like this. But all of the gudgeons do. They're keen, and they've got a much cuter face than a swordtail, especially my big black swordtail, whose beak has an upturn to it. He's beautiful colour, but his face is a mess. But yeah, I think gudgeons kind of look like little pugs or Pekingese. No, Pekingese have a Pekingese. They have a pointy face, more like a pug, little round faces. Very cool fish. I did have a Empire gudgeon in the tank inside. The previous tank inside, it was just a vintage 2-foot tank with the silver trims and stuff. I had an Empire gudgeon in there for about 12 years, maybe. When I first caught it, it was, it was less than an inch long, no color whatsoever. Just thought it was one of the mosquito fish, the gambusia. And then, a couple of years into its life, all of a sudden it starts getting bright red and colorful. And yeah, he lived for ages and was probably a good 3 inches long when he finally left this mortal coil. But yeah, very cool fish. And yeah, apart from big old gibbo in here, the gudgeons have rapidly become my favourite fish that I keep, as well as my prawns. The prawns are choice. My female prawn, well, I'm not sure if the small ones. G'day, Atkins, Mr. Ian. How are you? Welcome. It has been a while. Bigger prawn I had was buried with eggs and held the eggs for over 2 months. And I thought, surely a prawn does not have a gestation period this long. And then all of a sudden the eggs were gone and I've still not seen any babies. But considering there is a potential Empire gudgeon, maybe a flametail gudgeon in that tank, which are voracious predators, it would seem, if those eggs did actually make babies, they probably got it pretty quick. Hang on, I've got to catch up. The black and white brown ones, they'd fit in with a tank full of gudgeons. Black and white brown what's? Yeah, especially when I can't even remember Huawei, what name I used back then. I think that was when I did the MySpace stuff. I think was even before I was playing in Crow Circus. I wonder if Crow Circus has a Spotify. If you can find Crow Circus on Spotify, that would be pretty interesting. We did a record, an album, if you will. But yeah, the all the songs that I play or used to play on this channel were primary. I don't think there's a single finished one among them. When I had my studio set up in Brisbane and I was, doing music all the time, making lots of songs and whatnot, there was probably 200-ish, maybe. Let's not be so. Let's say about 140-ish unfinished songs or / pieces of music that were incomplete, being worked on a regular basis. And what I used to do was I would export WAV files or whatever they were when they were almost sounding right, almost finished. And then I had a terrible hard drive crash in my studio computer and lost all of that work. Years and years and years of work gone because the hard drive just ate shit and I hadn't backed every single thing up. And luckily for me, I had backed up, maybe 25 or 30 of my exported WAV files. And the songs that I play on this channel at the start of streams or in the middle of streams, as it were, pretty much all I've got left of the, what was it? Probably 3 or 4 years of that studio in operation. And, you know, once that computer died and I couldn't retrieve any data off that hard drive, I was like, shit, there you go. Yes, it is Huawei. I didn't actually expect you to go off chasing that, because I'm not 100% sure that it would they did one, but they might have modernized up and did it. Actually, maybe they did, because the way their business kept going after the band. And I think they still do music under the Crow Circus moniker. I talk to them occasionally these days, but not often, about the music. Yeah, computer crashes suck when you lose stuff that you've worked on and relentlessly worked on over years and years. It was a bloody big kick in the guts. And it may have actually contributed to me, not playing so much music these days. I wonder. Let's not psychoanalyze me for now. I think we all know I'm completely sane. Oh, hang on. Let me go into that chat, check the link. Yeah, that's definitely the one, Huawei. There's only one song on there, is there? Bezo's got some playlists. I haven't even heard that song. Might have to check it out. I might have to also encourage Bezariah, or Mark as he is there on Spotify, pardon me, to put the album on there. There's some fun guitar work by me. Yeah, well done, Huawei. Up top, my brother. Yeah, I mean, it was fun times, but I probably drank too much to be successful in that band. We had some issues in that band with certain members and their drug abuse. I was one of them. We had a couple of drummers who liked the heroin. We had one drummer who actually fell asleep at his drum kit in the middle of a gig. He nodded off. I think I'm supposed to use that term when you're talking about heroin, aren't you? He was on the nod. Middle of a gig. Head back, leaning against the wall behind him, fast asleep. So we took a break for a few minutes and slapped him back to life. And he sort of came back to and finished the gig. For the ultra portable setup. For fishing, you mean, Coro? Rightio. Yeah, ultra portable is good for fishing, because then you can go hell bush, deep into the bush. If you're talking about fishing, or if you're talking about fish tanks. Or you're talking about fishing but having a portable tank to take what you catch and put in it. Oh, I think that's what you're talking about, isn't it? Sometimes interpretation of words is not my forte. Lots of the time it is. Hey, Huawei, did you listen to that one song that's on there? I don't want to play it on air because it might be subject to copyright. Home 2022 single. macro fishing. So yeah, you were talking about a portable like tank setup that you take with you. How did it sound? Was it just one guitar, one voice, or was there guitar and boy and girl voice? I mean, you don't have to answer that. I've left the window open so I can have a listen. Yeah, I've often considered whoever was asking if I've got a Spotify before. I've considered putting the tracks that I've got onto Spotify, but like I say, the thing that always stops me from doing that is that none of them are finished tracks. Yeah, definitely no part on that track that's me, Huawei. I think it was maybe early 2000 teens or late 2000 aughts when the band disbanded as such. And those guys, like the band was always called that, but they also had a business registered as that name, and they continue to operate a business under that name, like spiritual wellness and all that kind of stuff that they're always into. And they're beautiful people, love them lots. They're some of the couple. There's Bez and Cag. They were the two singers in the band, and Bez did guitars and Karen did keyboards, or Cag. Her real name's Karen. What we called a Cag. I still do. Beautiful people. Some of my favorite humans I've ever been involved with musically and personally. And yeah, and now they run I think it's thriving. They seem to always have stuff on, like spiritual hippie kind of business, which is fine. I don't mind. I like some spiritual and hippie stuff. Just don't like it rammed down my throat, and they don't ram it down my throat. So I love them. Good people. Excuse me while I kiss this guy. Yeah. They gave me permission to record versions of the songs, but I just don't have the facility to do that nowadays. I guess I kind of do, but I wouldn't be satisfied with the quality that I'd produce. Plus, I also sold my best mixing desk to Scungy's son, so he could play doof in Sarah's house. I'm sure he plays other music as well. Oh, you liked it, Corey? Hot days, warm nights. Yeah, I always liked that song, but yeah, it's still, there's lots of parts in it. It's probably like my pictures. I look at pictures and I go, oh yeah, I could probably do more on this bit. And when I listen to a lot of my old songs, I'm like, yeah, I could probably do more on that bit too. Yeah, StreamYard's doing that numbers thing again. YouTube's telling me one number, StreamYard's telling me another. I've got to stop worrying about that. I'm trying to recall, Corey, if you were around when I was streaming on my channel, or if I only met you since I've been streaming with Pam on Pam's channel. Because there's going to be a moment shortly, my bladder tells me, where I might have to put on another song, since no one's coming to join me up on stage here. Oh, look out. I have potential photo in the inbox. Like it. Very nice, I'm saying. Want to show it on stream? Subtle invite, Michael. Would you come up if it was there, though, Ian? Would you? I can put it in chat. If you'll come up, if anyone wants to come up, why not? It's Sunday, let's have fun. Let's have fun with Jaces. It's always sensible to keep drinking when your bladder's saying, stop. Please stop. Oh, and that wind has just gotten chilly too. Those good old goosebumps help with the chills and the bladder and stuff. Is that accurate? Of course, I copy and pasted. Questioning the copy and paste. Pardon me. Yes, that website has had many changes over the years, Huawei. But I'm going to do a bit of this and a bit of this. I want to give people a look at... Oh, hang on. Let me open to a new window. Go back to the other window. This is always fun, isn't it, when you're watching people navigate around their computer. Do this one, share screen. Window, that one, share. Can you see that? Can you see that? Who's a busy girl? I wonder, they almost look like the letters have been carved out first. That would be pretty nifty. Crikey, the ciggy keeps going out. Got to keep lighting it, Michael. So that's nice. That's perfectly scungy. The dude that gave her that piece of wood apparently is an awesome guy. Yeah, and she's stalled at the moment. She doesn't know what to do next to the sign, she says in messages to me. Yeah. But I'm not even going to finish that cigarette right now. Don't smoke, kids. Or you kids in replay team 6, don't smoke. I'll put on another song. Any requests from people that know my songs? Too slow.
was clear. She saw what she did to you. Street corner spotlight lights up the stage where she lives her life. Streetwalker in the spotlight each night, walking on the sharp edge of the knife. Run for the money, walk for the grab. The best you've had. Best you've had. Best you've had. Run for the money, walk for the grab. The best you've had. Lecherous men all ask her out. To most of them, she says no. The paying gent she sticks to most. A wealthy man is a generous host. Street corner spotlight, a delicate shade to enhance skin white. Streetwalker in the spotlight, flesh painted on, skin tight. Run for the money, walk for the grab. The best you've had. Best you've had. Best you've had. Run for the money, walk for the grab. The best you've had. She's jumping, she's grabbing, she's keeping up the game. She's backward and forwards, in and out the same. With suit on and shirt on, money makes your name. She's helpless, she's lifeless, but keeping up the game. She's jumping, she's grabbing, she's keeping up the game. She's backward and forwards, in and out the same. With suit on and shirt on, money makes your name. She's helpless, she's lifeless, but keeping up the game.
Hello there.
Hi, what up?
How are you, Mr. Atkins?
Good, good.
You still staying off the carbs?
Staying off the carbs? Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't it be splendid if you were related to that man?
Which guy is that?
The man who did the Atkins diet, the low carbohydrate diet that was huge.
Oh,
in
the Atkins diet. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually made that correlation until just now.
You know, I haven't seen a commercial for one of those in so long. I almost forgot that was a thing.
It's probably, there's probably 100 different ones of the same sort of stuff nowadays. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
still
the last
struggling.
time-
Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, last time I heard of the Atkins diet, it was like a yogurt.
Yoga. Oh,
They're a yogurt. I don't know how I don't know if you guys eat yogurt or if you call it yogurt.
yeah. I think yogurt's called the same thing all around the
Yeah.
world. It's just spelt differently in some places. And yogurt was wasn't he a character in Spaceballs as well?
Yes.
My Schwartz is bigger than yours. No, wait, Dark Helmet said no, it was Yogurt that said that to Dark Helmet, wasn't it? My Schwartz is bigger than yours. Mel Brooks playing a character in one of his own films. Fantastic. What a man.
What a guy.
He's still going too. Nuts. I think he's 100 or something now. He's very late 90s at least.
Damn.
One of the funniest humans to ever grace the planet. And apparently he just never stops as well. He's funny just in conversation nonstop also. So I've heard.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm still racking my brain, Huawei, as to what the lesbian song is. I went through the ones that I have in my list, and unless it's that eye of the beholder thing or ear of the beholder, as it may be, that
Yeah, I don't know.
made you think a lesbian song. Was it do you remember what it sounded like? Was it like country rock? Maybe Her Game or Maxine. No, Maxine's doesn't give me lesbian vibes. Oh, BJ Palmer said definitely play Grub. I'll try and organise that for you before you go, BJ, or before I go. Actually, when I was saying all of that hoo-ha about finished songs and whatnot, I think Grub might be one of my only finished songs. And that Sex Walker one that I just played then, that I don't think there's much more I could do to that to make it better. Maybe sing it a little bit better.
Dude, that
also
song's cracking me up.
thanks.
I've never heard that one before.
Yeah, that's a good fun song. And the female vocals on that song just happened to be Cag from Crow Circus, the lady vocals from the Crow Circus band. Well, that's probably my sideburns, Huawei. How you been anyway, man? What's been going on?
Just working, fixing stuff in the fish room, getting new tanks. Got a new 65 gallon, so it's a 4 foot by 18 inches by 18 inches.
Oh yeah, would they call that a long because of
I
the
think
18?
the breeder, it's a 65 breeder.
Right.
But it's acrylic and it's drilled. It's got a corner overflow that I have to get bulkheads for and plumb up the sump.
I always found that funny in our equivalent to your like Lowe's, you know, your big hardware stores. Our equivalent one over here, there's in one section of the store you can get bulkheads. Actually, in two sections of the store you can get what you guys call bulkheads, and in one of the sections they're like 3 times the price as the other section for some reason, but they're pretty much the same products. That'll confuse the heck out of me. So I learnt pretty quickly which section to buy mine from.
Right. Yeah, I hear the chain hardware store doesn't sell bulkheads for some reason. They
Yeah,
sell
right.
all the other plumbing stuff but bulkheads. So I have to go to a different plumbing store tomorrow.
Yeah, and you can be guaranteed that you're not going to pay chain store prices in a plumbing shop, and that.
No, I'm hoping that it'll be pretty reasonable.
What did you say? Corner? So is it in the bottom or up in a top back corner?
It's in the bottom. And then there's one in the corner for the return.
Yeah, right. So do you run your bottom one down to a sump, or? Yep. Yeah, right.
It'll be straight. And it'll probably be a couple 45s to the sump, and then I'm gonna do soft tubing for return.
Yeah, right. Sensible. Yeah, nothing more annoying than trying to make a rigid pipe go where you want it to go.
I mean, I've done plumbing before. I did HVAC for a few years, so I can plumb it up. It's just the getting it done. It's the biggest tank I've ever done, so
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think most of my plumbing skills I've learnt fixing toilets and plumbing fish tanks.
you know. I haven't plumbed anything in a while, so it's gonna be fun. But I used
It's
to
like,
plumb flue pipes for furnaces, and I would do PEX line and gas line, and so I can make it look nice if I need to.
yeah, right. And you've got the welding skills if you're doing gas stuff, yeah? You've got to weld that, don't you? G'day, Kragos. Hi.
So no, the gas we never welded. It was all like iron pipe that we cut and threaded ourselves,
Yeah,
and then
right.
we would do that. But the like Freon lines for the AC and uh, some other stuff, we would do soldering, not soldering, brazing,
Yeah.
or we'd braze copper pipes, which
Yeah.
is kind of like welding. You have like a thin metal strip and then an oxygen acetylene torch, and you're just melting the metal into the metal.
It's more fusing than welding.
Yeah.
Yeah. I often think that air conditioner guys have the broadest skill sets because, they need so many tickets to be able to do every aspect of their job.
Yes, it's like low voltage electricity, welding, plumbing. Got to know how to read a tape measure, and it was a good skill set that I got to learn.
You got to learn how gravity affects water flow.
Yep.
If you don't get those air conditioner drainage pipes in the right spot, you can fill a roof up with water pretty quick.
Oh yeah.
Mhm. But when your air conditioner company has to pay for your new roof or your ceiling, sorry, not your roof, your ceiling, when they have to pay for that, I'm pretty sure they learn their mistakes pretty rapidly.
Yep.
Yeah, I had that in the last house I lived in. They came and put in a whole, what do you call it, where there's each room has a different thing and you can turn different ones on and off.
Oh, mini
Uh,
splits.
That'll do. Let's call it that for now. I don't think
That's
we
what
call
we
it down.
call them, mini splits.
But yeah, we had this whole massive system put on the house, and yeah, they messed up the drainage pipe somehow, and it just leaked all over this one section of the roof, which just happened to be over the dining table.
Oof.
And in no time at all, the you don't call it gyprock either, do you? Plasterboard. What do you call it?
Oh shit. Like drywall.
Sheetrock. Drywall, yeah, sheetrock, they're all the same stuff, isn't it? It's all gypsum. Yeah, when that started to discolor and sag in the middle, we knew something was up. But yeah,
Yeah,
they
we had one job where we just couldn't get the leak to stop, so we just replaced the whole thing,
crikey.
the whole head unit. It was a mini split. It wouldn't stop leaking on the inside room from
Yeah, right.
the lines.
It's one way to solve it. Just replace the whole thing.
It stopped it.
Yeah, I suppose the ends justifies the means, so they say. And what
And
else has been going
we
on
were
in
trying to
your life?
do it for weeks. We were figuring this out for weeks, and we just couldn't do it. No matter how many times we reattached the lines and put it back in, and as clean as we got it, it just couldn't stop dripping water.
Oh, I guess the ends does definitely justify the means. If you've spent weeks
Yes.
trying to do it, then it became a very expensive process. You probably would have saved money if they just did that in the first place, isn't it?
Yeah. And it was weird because it was a brand new install.
Maybe
But
it was just
like
one of those Monday morning or Friday afternoon machines that was built in the factory on a Monday or a Friday.
that's what we chalked it up to, is just one of those off the shelf things that, didn't pass right, but it passed.
Mm. Quality assurance, big tick, sure, let it go. I always find those QA stickers quite funny on devices. You get something and it fails within a week, but it's still got its quality assurance sticker on it. Someone wasn't doing their job right that day. Oh, I've got a slow sneeze brewing. It's taking ages.
I hate those.
I know, right? There's this one, you push on the middle of your nose. Or just let it happen slowly. Go for the ride. It'll be fun.
The roller coaster.
Yeah, it's going to make me want to sniff for ages now. What was I going to say? I've forgotten. Now I'm trying to read links. Oh, Huawei's popped your links up. Nice one, Huawei, and mine as well, even though none of them are really any good.
Oh, thank you, Sam.
So how's life? Someone said in the chat before you're on the day shift now.
Yup, I am on the day shift now. I was doing graveyard for well over a year.
What hours was that?
From like 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Yeah, right. Messes with you, doesn't it?
It does. And now that I'm in the daytime, it's like the sun feels weird to my eyes. I have to wear sunglasses all the time.
Yeah, I wonder, is that why I can't handle the bright sunlight? I pretty much all the time I'm outside. If I'm not under a roof, I have to have sunglasses on. Otherwise, I'm squinting with glare and whatnot.
Yup.
Because I did not quite a graveyard shift, but I was doing like having to get out of bed at like 1:30 in the morning for 2:30 starts, and then finishing at like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, maybe 10 sometimes. But yeah, that was terrible for my body. I just couldn't do it. I'm not a work at night kind of person.
Yeah. So now I'm on the 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. for 2 days, and then 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. for 3 days.
Yeah, right. Like consecutive days?
Yeah, so Saturday, Sunday, it'll be the 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., and then Monday through Wednesday will be the 2 to 10 p.m.
Yeah, right.
And then I get Thursday, Friday off.
Sometimes all we need is a little bit of consistency, isn't it? But yeah, if you got to break it up, you got to break it up.
Well, it's just what I gotta do.
Yeah, I like the 6 to 2 sounds like good hours. I could do
It's
6 to 2 for 5 days a week. That'd be pretty choice.
I wish I could do it 5 days, but that's what I've been doing right now because I'm training as the new assistant manager, and so I'm learning all the stuffs. But once that's done, I'll be doing the 2 to 10s.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'd be much more a fan of Just give me the same hours every day so I can rotate my life around it. But I guess you are doing the same hours every day, week in, week out, so you can still arrange your life around it.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
not too
suppose
different.
between the Tuesday and the Wednesday, you get like a extra long gap between two shifts. That's a bonus, I suppose.
And tomorrow night, I have to work a graveyard shift, which kind of sucks.
Is that just to prove that you're assistant manager material?
No, because I'm training a new graveyard shift person.
Ah, right. Gotcha. A little bit of an
No, I've
extra
already,
kickback.
like, they are really kind of like astonished by how able I am right now because I'm just flying through everything, and they say I'm doing a really good job and picking it up quick.
It's good to get positive feedback. It's good to get any feedback when you're training to do something new and no one's like saying you're doing this right, you're doing that wrong, and no one's telling you anything. That's the worst.
Yep.
I'd rather have someone say, hang on, that's not right, try it this way, than someone waiting for 2 weeks and go, for 2 weeks you've been stuffing this up, get it right. Those people can go away rapidly. So what are you doing on a Saturday night apart from watching this stream? Getting ready for work, I suppose. You got to work at 6 a.m.
No, I don't have
No.
to work at 6 in the morning because I have to do the graveyard shift. So I have like a ton of time to do nothing. I'm chilling outside. My neighbor's got the music playing. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's should be pretty low.
No, I can't hear it. It's probably
Okay, good.
for the best. I don't want to get like copyright strikes and stuff. I might get
Yeah.
demonetized.
I don't even
Oh.
know like what kind of it. It's not in English, so I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes that's the good thing about music.
That's what I like about it. It's I have Spanish neighbors, and every Saturday they have a big get together, cookout, and they just listen to music, drink beers.
Mini fiesta in the backyard. Nice. Cora, you can't make me choose just one. That's unfair. Absolutely unfair of you.
What's
There's
he
too
saying?
many. He's saying, what's your favorite ice cream? Do you have a favorite ice cream, Ian? I might let you answer that question while I go and get another bevo.
Favorite ice cream.
G'day, PNW.
Hey, what up, Ryan?
It's a difficult question, isn't it? There's too many
It
good
is.
ones.
Oh, I really like the ones. There was this one ice cream that Cinnabon made, or it was a brand by someone, but it had little cinnamon roll bits in it, and that shit was fire.
I like a quality hokey pokey, or salted caramels become pretty popular. One with a nice thick swirl of salted caramel goop through the middle of a good quality vanilla ice cream. I just started salivating excessively talking about ice cream. Thank you. Crikey, so many good choices. It's another one of those things where, when I was a kid, you were lucky if there was 3 or 4 different types of ice cream, and now there's a bajillion flavors.
See, we are. I don't know. Do you guys ever get Tillamook ice cream?
Tillamook?
Yep,
I've not heard
Tillamook.
of that brand.
Oh, it's an American brand, but it's really good. Really good. We make it here in Oregon. In my
Tillamook
home state.
Marion Berry Pie is P&W's favorite ice cream.
It's really good. That Marionberry pie, oh, that's my second favorite.
What's
It's
a
hard to choose
Marionberry?
just one. You're so right. That
Yeah, it's a very, very, very difficult question to answer effectively. Marionberry. I'm looking up what a Marionberry is. Oh, it looks like a mulberry. It is a mulberry, surely.
I'm not sure. I know it's a berry and it tastes good.
Yeah, it looks the pictures that I'm seeing. It looks. Hang on, Marionberry. Oh, hang on. There was one. I saw it. It said versus mulberry. See what the difference is. Versus mulberry. Ah, I hate those searches where they say Marionberry versus mulberry, and then it was a suggested search by Google, but then none of the responses actually have. None of them are comparing Marionberry versus a mulberry. But yeah, most of your of those blackberries and whatnot have a very similar taste.
They do.
But yeah, the mulberry grows on a considerably larger tree, I think, than a lot of your blackberry species do. Like they'll actually grow into a big full-size tree, whereas lots of your berries and whatnot are more shrubbish. Yeah, is that correct?
Yeah, we get blackberries. They're invasive here,
Mm.
and they're just a crazy, freaking thorny vine that's pisses everybody off. Nobody likes the blackberry here, except for when they're ripe. When they're
Yeah, then
ripe
you
and they're fresh picking, everybody's out to picking. But then when they're not ripe and they're taking everybody's gardens over, oh, they're once they take over, they're so difficult to get out because their roots are
yeah,
so deep,
and
and they'll still
it's
come
difficult to
back.
get to them.
They'll come back from a root.
From just the tiniest little fragment left in the ground, they'll keep coming. We have a native raspberry in Australia that's like that, a very spiky bush and very, very invasive, even though it's native. But yeah, it'll do the same thing. You can think you've got it ripped out, but if you leave a shred of root in the ground, it'll come back the next year and keep coming back.
And it comes back with a vengeance.
Yeah. Well, if you damage a plant that much that it's only got a little bit of root to come from, most plants go, I've got to produce as many epicormic shoots as I can. So you'll just get half a dozen, maybe more individual shoots coming up, and then they go and form their own plants. So you have this really thick, dense one, and then they'll just start spreading their roots along the ground and shooting up more epicormic shoots out of the ground. Very difficult to beat, as in to conquer. BJ can't get a mulberry tree to grow where I want. Why not, BJ? I thought they grew in the crack of your bum if you stood still long enough. People use that saying over there? Probably not, because you don't say bum, do you? Crack of your butt. They grow in the crack of your butt if you stand still long enough.
It will. They were growing up into this dude's house I was working at, and I was doing this guy's yard work for years, and they just kept coming back.
Yeah, it's tough when you get stuff like that, and you've used herbicides and everything you can possibly do. I had that with what was it? Singapore daisy. Do you know Singapore daisy?
Mm-mm.
It's a ground cover plant. Very, very beautiful dark green leaves and very pretty yellow flowers with a black center. But it's just prolific and incredibly invasive. And once it's established, it is fucking hard to get rid of. And I had it in a patch of a garden in an old house I had. And my last resort was petrol or gasoline, if you will. And I had to basically poison the dirt with gasoline to convince myself that I had killed off the Singapore daisy. I put probably $20 or $30 worth of petrol on the ground. Not, you don't light it, you just use the petrol to it does something to the cellular structure of plant material, I believe.
It
And
just destroys it.
less than a year later, Singapore daisy would start it again.
Mm.
So, but yeah, not long later, I moved out of that house. I'd planted a cactus in the backyard. Its common name is monstrosity. I don't know if you've ever seen a monstrosity cactus, but they grow gigantic and they're all like wobbly and very. I found it very attractive. Black flowers, very nice, or very dark purple, but they look black. Flowers at night as well, and hundreds at a time. And this thing in the backyard was probably about 16 or 17 feet tall at its highest point, but you know, they've got arms going everywhere. And it was a rented house that had a completely bare backyard when I moved in there, and I basically landscaped the whole backyard. And then the owners of the house wanted to sell the house, and they didn't like some of the plants that I had in there, especially the massive big monstrosity cactus.
Oh.
And they wanted me to remove the monstrosity, but while I was still living there, they were having people through the house, you know, doing inspections that wanted to buy the house, which I was fine with. And the people that ended up buying the house said that the massive cactus in the backyard was one of the features that made them really want the house. And the owners wanted me to get rid of it.
Oh man, don't they feel dumb?
Yeah. People got to realize that your cup of tea is not necessarily someone else's cup of tea.
Yep.
Just like when I moved in there and there was like the only plants in the entire backyard was these 3 little shrubs. I think they were gardenias along the back fence, evenly spaced, perfect looking things. There were only 3 plants in the backyard, and you know, that wasn't my cup of tea. So I put 75 garden beds in there and made the backyard a bush instead of a lawn. But yeah, the new people loved it, and I think they still live there. And I think they might still have Singapore daisy in the front yard. I must go and check on that. It's only around, you know, a couple of corners away. I could do a quiet little drive-by in the cul-de-sac and see if they've still got Singapore daisy. I'll check and see if they've still got the cactus too. It must be huge by now if they haven't chopped it down. A lot of those cactus, though, they do get to a certain height and then they can't sustain their own weight. So that, you know, that's how they spread, is the branch falls over and then they take root and keep growing along.
Yep.
Holly's dad planted a thornless variety of blackberries here a long time ago. They are huge. The blackberries or the plants themselves, Holly?
The cactus we had in Arizona got huge, so tall. They just towered over me. And they had these big bases, like almost 2 feet in diameter.
Do you know what sort of cactus they were? Like cigaros or something?
I think they called them cigar cactus, but I'm not sure. I was like 11. I didn't really care. what they were called.
Yeah, I don't think I was trying to remember plant names when I was 11 either.
I was
I
I
think
was more worried about riding bicycles and chasing girls and stuff.
yeah, that sounds about right. But yeah, I certainly didn't become interested in plant names till probably like 16 or 17. Maybe not even then. No, I think I was gardening by then. Trying to make myself feel intelligent by remembering Latin plant names.
Yeah,
That's
I've
the
never
fun part of
gotten to
hobbies.
the. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying that's the fun part of hobbies is remembering the complicated words so you can impress your friends with your increasingly large knowledge. Something like that. Isn't that why we all get into hobbies? Just to impress people?
Sorta ego. I see that.
I'm trying to work out where I keep getting this poo sound on my computer. I don't know if it's going through the stream, but none of the tabs I have open have notifications.
I'm so
YouTube is muted.
surprised you're not hearing the music. They turned it up. So let me know if it's getting too loud and I'll bounce inside.
No, I can't hear a thing. There is a new feature on StreamYard where you can block out background noise.
Really?
If you go into your settings, in the audio settings, reduce mic background noise. See, I have mine on at the moment, so you probably hear very little. I'll switch it off for a while and see if it changes my background noise. But if you're at all concerned about, because I certainly can't hear your neighbour's music. But yeah, if you're concerned about it, you can by all means use that function or feature.
Cool.
It works
It's not
great.
popping up on my phone. It might be a PC.
Someone else said that the other week too when they tried to find it, that it wasn't on the phone. So that's interesting. StreamYard's pretty good with responding to people's questions and whatnot. So when they ask me at the end, I'll say, why can't I do mic noise cancellation on my telephone?
Yeah.
It's all about the size and girth of your vocabulary. Absolutely, Coro. That's why I do about 15 crosswords a day minimum. Increase my
Crossword
size
scratch
and girth.
it's.
I don't do scratch-its.
I'll get like one a month, and I either win nothing or I'll win my money back. It's just fun for me to play the game.
Yeah, that's the best motivation to play them because your odds on winning anything substantial are quite small. I was in the shop doing my dad's lottos the other day. Like your lotteries. My dad plays a certain few every week, and I go down and put them on for him. And there was a dude in front of me in the line. He was checking his previous week's lotto ticket, didn't win, and then he got two, count them, 1, 2 scratch it cards. I don't remember what he called them, but 2 of them were $50.
Ooh, nice.
And handed over his $50, and I'm like, dude, you didn't win the lotto, and you're willing to throw $50 at 2 of these scratch cards. That's a dedicated gambler right there.
Yeah, I would have just taken the money and ran.
Oh no, he didn't win anything on his lottos. Oh. He just had $50 in his hand that was obviously burning a hole in his pocket that he just needed to get rid of. So let's spend it on a scratchy.
No, I gotta do that on Coral.
Yeah, it's the same thing, isn't it? Because you can win or lose with corals. Go and spend $50
I haven't lost too many yet.
No, that's good. You're
But I'm
doing the
running
right
out of
thing.
room, so I got to slow down.
Yeah, well, gamblers don't have to say that, do they?
No.
All these losses are taking up space. Nope. But yeah, fuck, $50 for 2 scratchy cards. Obviously, if you're spending $25 each on them, the prizes are going to be pretty choice. But yeah, my main objective to objection, sorry, not objective. My main objection to those scratch cards is I got no idea what that shit's made of that you scratch off and where it goes. You know,
You
is it a
know,
microplastic? Is it harmful to the environment? Will the caterpillars eat it and die of cancer? I just don't know.
I don't know either, and I've never really thought too much about it.
It's probably safer.
I'll have to ask my lottery guy.
Yeah, see if they know. I wonder how often they get asked, what is this stuff actually made of? It frightens
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I might actually try and remember to make a point on next Friday when I'm in there. I'll ask the girls if they know. We got a pretty decent relationship. I'm sure I could make a funny about this stuff that I'm frightened of. Oh, Scungy's just sent me a photo and it looks really nice. I wonder, should I share that photo? Who wants to see some of Scungy's wood blocks painted? She might not want me to show it, but you know, she's not here to tell me no.
Yeah, let's see it. I was wondering where she was.
Yeah, she's, you know, it's one of the days of the week where she gets a bunch of time to do work and stuff. So she's trying to focus on getting a bunch of work done. And we're doing the Oddities and Curiosities Expo is coming to Australia in early December. So we secured a place at that expo, which was very choice. And so, yeah, but now we've got like a lot of in the next, what do we got till December? It's only like 5.5 months. Not even 5.5, just over 5 months until the expo's on. So we've got a lot of work to do to be ready for this expo, which is why she's been making her sign. You know, we can't just have a booth with no like we can't, every person that walks past, we can't say this is Scunch Princess's booth.
Oh, so you guys are going to be a vendor.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was a whole application process and stuff that we had to go through, and obviously they liked the cut of her jib, so we got in and
nice.
Yeah, fingers. We've got shirts being made, and she's got a whole bunch of unique shirts and prints, and obviously she's got thousands of original.
Dude, her art is fantastic. It's gonna do well.
Well, yeah, that's what we figured. Something like the Oddities and Curiosities Expo, she certainly fits in quite perfectly, isn't it?
Definitely.
Because all of her work is both odd and curious. Let's have a look at these woody things that she's sent me. And some rocks. And an interesting piece of wood with some holes in it. Some of the people watching this will have seen some of these before, but can you, if I wiggle my cursor around, you can see my cursor, yeah?
Yep.
This one she completed yesterday. This one she completed yesterday. Not sure. I think she might have. Yeah, she did show that one on Pam's stream on Tuesday night. But yeah, these two up the top right are fresh new ones.
I like the snail.
The skull snail.
The skull snail. Or
Yeah.
it's a slug with a skull
Yeah.
trying to be a snail.
Yeah, we had a bit of a discussion about that one yesterday because she sent me a picture of it and she didn't know if it was finished or not. And I said, "Oh, you could put this or you could put this." And I think my suggestions made her just go, "Yeah, it's finished." So I must remember that technique for the future when she's uncertain about whether a piece is done. I'll say, "Oh, add a open toilet seat," and then she'll go, "Right, seal it, finish it, it's done." Because that artist indecision stuff, it never ends, I guess. So something that motivates you towards closure is probably a good thing. But yeah, I'm trying to work. Oh, is it fabric underneath them? I can't zoom in. Why can't I zoom in Facebook? Do I have to do it manually? Well, that's interesting. You push the plus button and it zooms out. Try the other way then. Why is that going on? Oh, wow. Obviously, my computer is being a little bit spazzy. Or Facebook is, one of the two.
It's Facebook. It's always Facebook.
Yeah, I like that theory. Looks like a skull riding a snail, says Holly. Or riding a slug. Or otherwise, it's a snail that has a skull for a shell. But yeah, that's what I called it. I called it a skull snail straight away. Yeah, let's all blame Zuckerberg, Ryan. Do you reckon he's going to actually fight Elon? Elon's got some work to do if he reckons he's going to win that fight. Zuckerberg's pretty buff.
I would like to see that happen.
I would like to see it too. Imagine how much gambling revenue that could raise if they were allowing bets on it. What am I talking about? If they allow it, you can bet on anything
That's
these
totally
days.
happening.
The fight is, or the gambling?
The gambling.
Yeah, because Elon's like a bigger man, but he's a little bit older. Certainly doesn't have the physique that Zuckerberg has. Zuckerberg he's like a little. I mean, he appears to me like he's a little dude, so he could just get in underneath and pop, 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 step
Right.
back out, pop, pop, pop. He could get that done in no time. And it obviously depends on if they fight mixed martial arts rules or Muay Thai rules or boxing rules. You know, the possibilities.
Did you hear
are endless.
about the what was it? Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz?
Oh, I heard rumors, but is it actually going to happen, or has it happened?
So
the street one, the one in the street.
I think it's. I haven't actually seen anything. I'm just going off of hearsay, what I've heard from other people. So I don't really know.
Because I saw a blurry, hazy video of this stuff that happened in the street, where it was supposedly Nate Diaz taking a swing at whichever Paul brother it was, but then I think it was denied that it was actually Nate Diaz doing the swing. It was like just some dude who looked a little bit like him, but I'm not sure. But if Nate Diaz is fighting Jake Paul, I will watch that fight. I think the one good thing about Jake Paul doing all of this, this hype fighting, is he's actually becoming a decent fighter. I have no interest in the dude at all, but it seems like he can actually fight. It seems like he's got the goods.
That's kind of what I'm gathering too. Like, I didn't care for him as a YouTuber, but he seems to be getting pretty good at boxing.
Yeah. But So Jake Paul is probably a little bit bigger than Nate Diaz, but still.
Oh, apparently the
Diaz.
fight's tonight.
Oh, get out! Really?
Yeah, live right
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
I think.
where can we illegally stream this? Let's broadcast it.
I have no idea.
Wow. Googling now. Diaz versus Paul. I got to DI and Diaz versus Paul came up. It's trending.
Now I'm on Googling it right now too.
That looks like, based on my Googles, it's finished, and I'm disappointed with the result.
Oh no!
But
We were
I'm
late.
sure an adequate paycheck was received by both fighters.
Oh, they both got paid handsomely.
No doubt, yeah. I'm fairly certain that's the motivation for anyone to take on Jake Paul, is that they know there's going to be a massive audience. Oh, was it Logan Paul or Jake Paul? Hang on. Let's go.
Jake Paul.
It was Jake. Yeah, because he's the one that's been doing most of the fights, isn't it? Logan Paul's the other one. Maybe that's why Jake Paul started doing the fighting call outs and stuff, because his brother was getting more YouTube following and stuff. So Jake was like, "Oh, let's work out a way to get this happening." I think I'm right with that, isn't it? Was Logan the bigger one on the YouTubes?
I have no idea. I never watched them. I didn't care for them.
Yeah, nor did I. I think I saw one video of one of their like house tours or something, and I thought, you're a bit of a wanker, mate. I don't think I'll watch your videos.
That's what I thought. Like, you guys are goofy, man. I can't do this.
But obviously it works for some people out there because they got huge followings, and anyone who fights Jake Paul gets a massive payout because they know that millions of people are going to watch.
Yep.
All right, I've got to go and do a wee. Shall I play a song, or will you entertain the people with a story?
Oh, I would play a song. I'm bad at stories. But I can read chat. Unless chat is dead.
Well, thankfully we enlivened chat again with his firstly Zuckerberg and Elon fight. Got chat going, and then the Logan Paul fight. Jake Paul, sorry.
So did anyone actually watch the fight tonight?
I would imagine that no one in this chat did. Because they're always on a pay-per-view, aren't they? But probably not even like a regular sports pay-per-view. They're probably a company that's probably owned by Jake Paul or something like that, something that he's got some financial interest in.
Something, yeah, probably.
Hey, BJ Palmer, are you still here? Because Huawei wants me to play the Grub song, and I know you do too.
Oh, play the Grub song.
All right, I'm going to do that because I am busting again. Probably because I keep drinking liquids and not emptying them out. Where's it gone? Has it been deleted? No, it hasn't. Here it is.
Oh, shit.
This is the story about a grubby little guy who doesn't know it yet, but he's in for a big change. Grub was happy doing his grub things, eating leaves and doing other grub things. He'd eat his leaves all day and have grubby things to say. When he was asked to comment on what might be one day, he said, I'll keep doing things my grub way. It's my way from day to day. What may be one day. Till then, I'll stick to my grubby way. Grub was happy doing his grub things, eating leaves and doing other grub things. Grub was happy doing his grub things, eating leaves and doing other grub things. Grub went on with the way that took him day to day, thinking things that made him say, what if things worked another
And
way?
he said, I've been doing things my Grub way. It's the same old stuff day to day. Perhaps there is another way, so I can change my grubby way.
Grub was happy doing his grub things, eating leaves and doing other grub things. Grub was happy doing his grub things, eating leaves and doing other grub things. And Grub went on and changed his ways. Woke one day and Grub felt strange. Wrapped himself up and slept for days. Woke up again and he was amazed.
I was happy to do my bit, fit myself into where I fit. Never knew how free I could be, couldn't tell I could be me. I settled in and I did my thing. Never knew I was gonna, never knew I was gonna grow wings, living my life day to day. Now everyone can hear me say.
Grub was happy that he tried new things, so very happy he loved his wings. Recapping tonight's top stories. Grub was happy that he tried new things, so very happy he loved his wings. Back to you in the studio.
It's a shame it's such a short song, Ryan.
Oh, that's a good song. I don't think I've heard this before today.
Yeah, that's possibly one of the. I think I was saying it just before that is one that I probably do consider finished. I did that with another Crow Circus link. The dude, he did the bass in that, and it's probably one of my favorite bass lines on any of my songs because it wasn't played by me. But yeah, Dave Mink, he plays in a band called the Toxic Garden Names now. Check them out on YouTube. They do some fun, punky, rocky stuff. But yeah, we had this great aspiration, myself and Dave and Dave's wife, just partner. I don't think they were married. I don't think they are to this day. Prove me wrong, Dave or Leah. But we were going to do, we had a project in mind where we were going to do DVDs were big at the time, right? So we were going to do a kids DVD, educational, fun, animated stuff. And Dave's misso was a talented, probably still is, I shouldn't say was, a talented artist, and she liked doing animation stuff. So we threw all these ideas together to record a bunch of songs and animate them and, release this project together. And, I think we got 2 sort of finished. One of them was only like a 35-second song, which was teaching kids to say, what time is it, in multiple different languages before I left Brisbane. So we never actually got to finish that project, which was a shame because it was, as Grub proves, it was on fire. It was great. Yeah, I really enjoy that song. I don't necessarily enjoy the strain in my vocal at the end when I'm trying to hit those high notes, but I still hit the notes. It just sounds strange, but I do enjoy that song. We also, down under, I don't know, do you guys even use the word grub?
Very rarely. Like, kind of, not really.
What context do you use it in, though? Like as in a caterpillar? The context of the song?
Kinda, yeah, like a caterpillar or a small bug.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's one. Oh, one thing I didn't consider was whether a grub was actually a universal word or not. But yeah, down here, a grub is not only an insect larvae or larva, I should say. I did say singular, not plural. A grub is also someone who has pretty gross behaviors, or someone who um, might do inappropriate things to the opposite sex. We call them a grub. Also, someone who does inappropriate things on a sports field might be a grub. While I was taking a wee just then, whilst that song was playing, I'd never made the correlation before, but that song might actually be metaphorical for that kind of grub, the naughty kind of grub, turning their life around.
Yeah.
Never thought of it till just then. Wild. It was always just about a caterpillar metamorphosizing into this beautiful butterfly to me. Huawei's the homoeroticism of UFC is the only reason to watch. I don't know. When someone gets a decent mouse on their forehead, that's a good reason to watch. You ever
Yeah.
seen a good mouse? Oh, those things can look brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those block kicks, man. It's just crazy how fast they move.
Yeah, it's a pretty good sport. It's a true sport, really, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
there's such a wide parameter of things you can do to perform well in that sport. Whereas, certain sports that are very restricted by you've got to do this, this, and this can become quite tiresome, except cricket. Cricket never becomes tiresome.
that's a sport that didn't take hold here in America.
Oh, they're trying. There's cricket. There's actually a T20 series being played in America at the moment.
Really?
And then there's a big one happening. I don't know how big it's going to be, but they're trying to get a competition up and running early next year, I think, in the States. And lots of play, like well-known players from around the world are all converging on the States to try and get this cricket thing happening in the States.
Because it was never taught to us in school. It was always football, soccer, baseball.
Well, I think baseball is a derivative of cricket, if you believe the history books.
Yeah.
But like your traditional 9-inning game of baseball, generally cricket was considered far too long for most people to consider entertaining. And then in the last 15 to 20 years, they've developed this form of the game called T20 or 2020, which basically goes for 3.5 hours tops. So it's over in about the same time that a game of baseball takes. And I think now they've realised that kind of fits into the attention span of American viewers. I don't mean to be offensive, but I think that's their motivation. So yeah, they're trying to get cricket to take off over there. And there's a cricket league in New York State. There's like 6 teams that play in a tournament there or something like that. And the Canadians play. Actually, trivia fact, the first international game of cricket ever played, I should do it as a competition. No, I couldn't be bothered because people can Google it. The first ever international game of cricket was played between USA and Canada. Neither country nowadays renowned for their cricket. Actually, I think some of the games that were happening in the States were qualifying games for the next T20 World Cup. And if I'm not mistaken, I think USA did okay. What if baseball, but more confusing and boring? I guess it's what you grow up with, Huawei. I can watch, because there's test match cricket, right? Ian, are you familiar with test match cricket?
Mm-mm.
5 days. 5 days of cricket.
Damn.
Each team gets to bat twice, and it can go for 5 days. And if there's no result, if there's no winner or loser after 5 days, it's just a draw. And I think that's what scares a lot of people about cricket, is that it's 5 days of sport. But yeah, there's different formats of the game, thank goodness, because no one would watch it if the only option was watching it for 5 days.
Yeah.
So you got your main formats are Test cricket, 5 days, 1 day cricket. Guess how many days 1 day cricket goes for? It's it's only about 6.5, 7 hours as a rule. Each team bats once. Or you've got T20, where each team only faces 20 overs. 20 times 300 balls each to score as many runs as they can. Shh. You're too noisy, mate. Shush. Everyone heard that one because I turned my background mic thing off. Yeah, so the general thing with T20 cricket is, you're trying to score as many runs as you can off a very limited amount of balls. So it's very entertaining, and the batters are just trying to flog the ball as hard as they can all the time. So I think that's where they've triggered the American interest, where it's entertaining and it's action nonstop. Whereas if you watch Test cricket, it's a very defensive game and very strategic game, whereas the shorter forms of the game are not so strategic. I guess there's still strategy involved, but not as like Test cricket's like a long game of chess. The other ones are just, let's try and get as many runs as we can. Joel G, would you agree with my descriptions of cricket? Joel G's a New Zealander, so he's probably more attuned to cricket than most of the people in here, unless Cragos is still here. Cragos, I think he's still here.
Craig, Catfish Cave.
I don't know if Craig's a cricket watcher or not, though. If there is no winner after 5 days, someone should be paddled with the cricket bat thing. Yeah, but how do you determine that someone, maybe they all should be? Nobody played hard enough, you all get a spanking with the bat. I like curling too. Curling's good fun. Absolutely, Joel G. Joel says the game has changed alongside our attention spans. They actually had in the, you've got the Olympic Games and then you've got the Commonwealth Games, which the Commonwealth Games are basically countries from the old British Empire. In the Commonwealth Games, they had Super 8 cricket, which was an even shorter version of the game than T20 cricket. But also, like each team only had 8 overs to get as many runs as they could. But also, instead of having 11 players on each team, there was only 8 players on each team. So it was an interesting concept, but it didn't take. And after, I think, one time in the Commonwealth Games, it was taken out of the Commonwealth Games. I think mainly because it didn't maintain some form of commercial interest. No countries around the world, apart from these ones that were doing the Commonwealth Games, were interested in playing this Super 8 cricket.
Yeah, seems like a pretty niche thing to get into. I really don't even watch sports that much anymore.
The only sports I watch nowadays are cricket and Formula One. And at the moment, there's Formula One's on summer holiday, and cricket, there's no games that pique my interest. So I'm not doing any sport for probably another 3 or 4 weeks at the moment. Gives me time to catch up on other stuff. Joel G says the old games really are a bit long, though. Well, it was only, crikey, how long ago was it? Probably only about 70 years ago, where they actually shortened Test cricket down to 5 days. In the olden days, they would just play until there was a result. So you could have a game that could go for 9 or 10 days if the players were playing well enough or slow enough, as it were.
Jeez.
Someone else used a cricket bat as a weapon in an American movie, I seem to recall. Are you back looking at me again? My magpie's back. He's gotten closer this time, but still sitting there like I should feed it. Giving me the side eye. Aren't you?
He's like, food, snack? You
It's
talking
funny
about me?
because he'll sit there and he or she, I'm just going to keep saying he because, no, I think it's a she actually. She's quite confident. Her partner is a little bit sketchy and won't actually come at me like this one does. This one will come and sit at, like it's 2.5 meters away from my feet across the other side of the table, just sat there waiting patiently for food. Whereas the other one, if I stand up and move, it'll take off and disappear. But yeah, this one, if I were to stand up right now and move towards the kitchen of the house, it would follow me. It would run along the ground and follow me and wait at the door to see what I was bringing outside to feed it.
That's cute. Is that just a wild magpie?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You're familiar with your American magpies. Our magpies are not those. They're considerably different, but they're still both corvids, I believe, in the crow family. But yeah, these magpies, when it comes to breeding season, when it's springtime in Australia, there's millions of videos hit YouTube of magpies attacking people because they're very,
That's
very,
what I was
very
about to
defensive of
say.
their nests.
Have they attacked you yet?
No, once you befriend them, they won't ever attack you. They're
So just befriend the magpies. Don't piss them off.
yeah, just feed them once in a while. That's good enough. They associate you as not a threat and as a friend. And apparently they have like a memory for faces and stuff, so they can recognize. They speculate 140 to 180-ish faces that these birds can remember. So they have a fairly large territory, so that sort of facilitates for them a certain amount of people that they can remember that they won't attack when they've got babies in the nest. But if they don't know you and you're anywhere near their nest, like I'm talking within a couple of 100 yards or more, they swoop and they peck and they claw and they'll do their best to take you out because they think you're coming for their babies.
Even though you're not. Yeah, I've seen those videos. They're crazy birds.
Yeah. I mean, they're very pretty and they've got a beautiful song, but Jesus, they're nasty.
Yeah. Even
I remember
people riding their bikes down the street randomly, just yeah.
And people have got all sorts of life hacks for how to stop a magpie swooping. Like people put cable ties, 100 cable ties in their bike helmet to stick up like spikes, and they think that's going to stop them. People think if they put like a Halloween mask of some sort on the back of their bike helmet, that if the magpie can see your face, it's not going to swoop you. But, you know, there's hundreds of videos out there of cable tie people getting smashed, mask people getting smashed. They don't work. You can swing a stick above your head, but that's just being hopeful.
Give them some food.
Yeah, just have a pocket full of mincemeat wherever you go in the spring. I still remember when I was, what was I? Probably 8 or 9 years old, and we were visiting at my grandfather's farm at the time, and me and my brother, we used to, you know, it's a big, expansive farm, so we used to go wandering off and go and explore the countryside. And this one particular day, we were approaching the farmhouse on our return from our, 1 or 2 hour walk wherever we went. G'day, Gaffer. And we were about 200 meters, 200 yards, call them what you want, from getting back to the house. And all of a sudden we started getting smashed by this magpie. And there was like this little shack thing. It was a back wall and a roof of corrugated iron. I don't know. Do you call it corrugated iron over there? That metal that's...
Steel. Yeah, we call it corrugated.
Yeah. It basically just had a roof and a wall and 4 posts.
Yeah.
Some kind of like old storage for hay bales or something like that. We took refuge in this little shed while this magpie was drilling us. Absolutely, it would go whoosh and just turn straight around, whoosh, come back at us. And then so we were stuck in this little shed thing for a few minutes, and there was this sheet of corrugated iron on the ground in the shed, and for some reason my brother decided to lift it up and have a look underneath it, and there was a little brown snake under it. I was like, fuck, we've got this second most venomous snake on the planet right in front of our feet, looking all pissed off because we've just disturbed its sleep. We've got this other black and white. We've got this other bloody beast on the outside of the shed who wants to kill us as well. My brother picked up some piece of stick that was there and smashed this snake to death, and then decided, well, I guess it was the adrenaline of killing the snake that was possibly going to kill us. He had this adrenaline rush and decided to bolt to the house and risk the magpie, and bolted back while I was sat there, clutching myself, going, oh my God, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. And returned with like an umbrella, which was a solid defense. He came back with an umbrella, battled the magpie with an umbrella over his head, and then took me under his arm, and we both jogged back to the house under the solid protection of an umbrella. It was a great moment. Still sticks with me to this day, and it was 30 odd years ago.
That is a great story. Another reason to go to Australia. What time of year does that happen?
In the springtime. So about a month's time, the magpies will start swooping, which it also correlates with the time when all of the snakes come out looking for mates as well. So, that's the danger time is in the spring. Also coincides with the time when all of the nasty jellyfish start appearing in the coastal waters up and down the east coast.
Oof.
What else coincides with then? Crocodile breeding season, cassowary breeding season. Cassowaries can be pretty nasty if you don't know them.
Those are like the big birds.
Yeah, with this stone on top of their head, but that's not the dangerous bit. They've got
this massive claw.
Yeah, the middle toe is about 10 inches long or something, and they can rip your guts open if they're pissed off. And mother cassowaries, when they've got a bunch of little babies, they're often pissed off if they come across a human in their way. Unless they're, used to human population. which I have been to a place up in North Queensland where one of my sisters used to live. It's like a little coastal touristy area. It's not very touristy. There's only like a couple of cafes and a little marina there, sort of thing. And there's a whole bunch of cassowaries that walk around, and they're obviously very used to people, because when we were there was cassowaries getting around with their babies, because the babies stay with their mother for quite a while before they go independent. And none of those cassowaries were interested in attacking humans. So it might be a very similar thing to the magpies, pardon me, where once they're used to, humans being a source of food and niceness, they, realize that they're not so much of a threat. But if you come across a wild one in the rainforest or something with babies, you probably want to turn around and go the other way.
Yeah, probably not the best idea.
Supposedly considered the most dangerous bird on the planet. I believe the Canadian goose is considered the second most dangerous. I may need correction on that, but I believe that's what the trivia says.
Goose. That is a strong. That goose is. Ugh. They tormented me as a kid.
They punch above their weight, don't they?
They do. They just peck at you and chase you. The whole flock chases you.
I've always found it weird. I've always found it weird why people are so frightened of geese, because their beaks are just rounded and
they're
flat.
actually serrated.
Yeah, I found that out. I found that out one day in a park up on the Gold Coast, a little bit north of me, where I thought, oh, these geese are nothing. Why are people so scared of them? And I started putting my foot out, and had a go at my leg and gave my leg a bit of a shred with its beak. And I was like, oh, right. Don't underestimate them. And then not too long after, same park, they have black swans there as well. And I was getting a little bit too close to this group of black swans, and this big male black swan put his wings out and his head down and started doing these ones coming at me. I think I might have actually got a video of it on my YouTube channel. And I thought, it was a once bitten, twice shy situation perfectly. I decided to back away from the black swan instead of making the same mistake I did with the goose.
Smart decision.
Yeah, self-preservation. Shotgun sounds effective for the feisty magpies. Yeah, that we weren't always allowed to carry the shotgun around as young lads. Ryan. The Australian magpie is the 7th most dangerous. Yeah, it's not not necessarily by the injuries that they can cause, but the injuries that they cause, if you know what I mean, like people falling off bikes or scooters or spinning their whatever vehicle they're riding, their Segway, out of control because a magpie is pecking at the back of their neck.
Tripping and falling and...
Yeah. Trying to run and the footpath's not been leveled off for 25 years. So there's a little bit of an uneven bit. You fall over and crack your skull on the pavement.
Vicious little birds. They're not even trying to kill us, but they're trying.
Yeah, it's a side effect of their defense of their babies. They're just protecting their young'uns. If a couple of humans have to die to protect their babies, so be it.
Well, you know what America would say to that?
Kill them all.
Kill them all.
Wait, was that the right answer?
That is the right answer. And that's why the bald eagle is extinct. Or not extinct, endangered.
Endangered, yeah.
Endangered.
Yeah, we still
They're
get that
coming
problem
back.
here.
They're starting to come back. And
Yeah,
actually,
'cause people are getting more sensible about conservation. Swap the S's and V's around. These days, people are becoming a little bit more sensitive to that, and even farmers, because we've still got farmers in Australia that shoot wedge-tailed eagles, our largest eagle species in Australia. Beautiful big bird, but they blame them for taking lambs and calves and other livestock and whatnot. So farmers still shoot them, even though it's highly illegal to shoot them.
Mm.
But yeah, thankfully, Australia is a big enough country that wedge-tailed eagles are breeding and surviving in places that don't have humans. Oh, g'day, Punchy. I thought you was gone. Tastes like chicken. Crowned eagle. I'm going to have to look up the crowned eagle now. I've not heard of that one.
Me either.
The same thing as the harpy eagle, is it? Because the harpy's the biggest one, isn't it? So is that what you're saying as well, Gaffer, that these crowned eagles are threatened because people kill them because they like to kill the animals that people farm, or they like to kill humans also?
Man-eat bird. Descendants from a pterodactyl, I swear.
90-centimeter tail. Well, I don't think. Where's its wingspan? Tell me its wingspan, you dogs. No, generally the first thing they tell you about big birds is its wingspan. And this article just wants to tell me how long its tail is. I want to know wingspan.
Interested in the tail.
It's, by the picture of it, it doesn't even have a very long tail, but hang on. The crowned eagle's long tail imparts an overall length of up to 90 centimeters, 35 inches. And has a considerably shorter wingspan than Africa's largest eagle. Where's the parentheses with the wingspan in it? They give me parentheses on everything else. Still, no. Oh, here we go. No, again. The crowned eagle is a very large eagle, measuring from 80 to 99 centimeters, 31 to 39 inches in length. Where's its fucking wingspan? Surely we only measure birds in wingspan, not their bloody length. It's not a snake. I don't need its SVL, its snout to vent length.
It's like measuring a fish from one fin to the other. Anal fin.
Here we go. The largest authenticated wingspan for a female was 1.9 meters, 6 foot 3 inches, with a claim of wingspans up to 2 meters, needing confirmation. Oh, I'd still claim that as a small one, because I think the wedge-tail, they say they go up to 3 meter wingspan. I'm going to confirm that fact before I send people astray. Maximum reported wingspan of 2.84 meters, 9 foot 4 inches. How do you think you'd feel about a bird that's almost 10 feet across flying towards you? and with a beak that looks like a bloody 70s boot. They've got such a big, chunky beak. Such a beautiful bird. But yeah, that's almost a yard bigger than the that African one that I was just talking about. Crowned eagle.
I like bored old farts comment. The bald eagle wasn't endangered. They just went up to Canada till you bastards calmed down. That is so true.
Yeah, the birds of prey with keen eyesight. They're not silly. They know when to just move along a bit. Yeah, I still think I'd be more frightened of a wedge-tail coming at me than a crowned eagle gaffer. Just saying. The extra meter will probably do it every time. We have a pair of wedge-tail eagles that there's a mountain, not a massive mountain. It's basically just a large hill out the back, but it's got some rocky outcrops on the western face of the mountain. And the wedge-tailed eagles nest up there. So there's quite often in the spring and the summer, you'll see at least the two adults making circles out over the paddocks looking for food. And then into the summertime, you'll get, 3 or 4 of them up there circling, depending on how many chicks they've had that year. Very, very impressive to look at. But you absolutely do not get a grasp of how big they actually are when you see them up in the sky, because they just look like a bird up in the sky, but you don't know that they're possibly a kilometer away, and they only look small because they're so far away. But as soon as you see one that's drifting not too far above you, it's like, holy hell, that's a big bloody bird.
I can only imagine.
But
I
yeah,
haven't
still,
seen-
I don't know. Oh, wedge-tails are also in New Guinea, southern New Guinea. I guess they're birds. They can fly over the ocean, can't they? Now I have to search largest birds of prey, because I know the wedge-tail isn't the biggest one. I think it's the harpy eagle. But I think they're very endangered as well. Let's go largest birds of prey in order. Bloody search largest birds of prey, and it gives me the golden eagle first. It's only little, as big as our sea eagles. Harpy eagle, that's the one I said, comes in first. Oh, hang on. I could be wrong. Now I'm jumping between. Oh, the bald eagle does not carry the title of the largest bird of prey, but it is certainly the most majestic. Fucking come on, mate. Who wrote this? AI?
Oh, man. Stick that, America. Wait. I'm American.
Wait. The harpy eagle is not the longest bird of prey, but has a massive wingspan of nearly 7 feet. Now, I'm sure I just read that the wedge-tail goes up to 9 feet, which is 9.5 feet, I think it was. 3 meters is what I've always heard. I thought the harpy eagle was way bigger than the wedge-tail. Maybe it's longer. Maybe it's bigger or overall. California condor is the largest bird of prey in the Americas, wingspan of 9.5 feet. Andean condor, similar. It's interesting that the biggest ones are condors and vultures. Philippine eagle, haven't heard of him, but he looks very pretty. Wedgetail doesn't even get a mention. Maybe people are lying to me about how big wedgetails actually are. Yeah, exactly, Ryan. Bird propaganda. It's all propaganda. They just want me to think that our eagle's the best. I think it is the best. It's gorgeous too. And I don't think there's another bird of prey with the same shaped tail. Hence the name, probably. Wedge-tailed eagle. Well, look at this. We've come back to a stream on the Dr. Black channel. We've talked about fish. We've talked about birds. We've talked about TV shows. It's almost like we never left. But I think, speaking of never leaving, even though I did trick everyone and say we were doing a 20-hour stream, I think we're going to leave, primarily because I'm outside and the sun is going down and it's getting very cold right now. Not cold Wyoming style, just cold that my calf muscles and my ankles are getting little icicles swarming on them and stuff. So we might call it quits and go away. What do you reckon, Ian? Are you done? You got anything else to tell us?
I am done. I'm going to let you finish your show.
I really appreciate you coming up, man. Otherwise, I probably would have called it quits an hour ago. It's very good to have someone to bounce off.
Yeah, it's
Punchy
good.
says, "Oh no, you can't leave."
Have a good night, guys.
Thanks heaps, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Yup.
Appreciate it. And thanks everyone for viewing. If you're in the replay team 6, welcome back. You probably haven't seen us for a while. That's probably a good opportunity to say that people who haven't been seeing me on this channel, it's due to time constraints of the time of day. But generally, for the next several weeks, many weeks probably, I'll be joining Punchy Paints on her live streams. Well, I'm sure Huawei will chuck up a Punchy Paints link, but I'm almost 99% sure that everyone who's here at the minute is subscribed to Punchy, and you all know where I've been streaming at and whatnot. But thanks heaps for hanging out. I didn't actually expect people to come on such a short notice impromptu thing. But it's very, very, very good to sit down and hang out with people again. And surprise, surprise, a 3-hour stream. Impromptu 3 hours of nonsense. Well done, everybody. So yeah, we're doing tomorrow night, Pam. We are, aren't we? We're doing a stream on Pam's channel tomorrow night. Probably showing some art and whatnot. Not 100% sure what Scungy's doing, whether she'll be there, but at least Pam and me will be. And maybe Bobo, maybe Edo. Who can tell? You'll have to come tomorrow night to find out. Thanks heaps, everyone. Take it easy. And I'll see yous when I'm looking at yous. Cheers.